My name is Leo. I am 42 years old. For 15 years, I designed a life for my wife, Sophia. I built her a world of luxury, but I felt myself disappear in the process. I gave her everything she ever asked for, and when the money stopped, I learned the dark reality of our divorce. She wasn't my partner. She was just my best client. I remember our beginning. 15 years ago, life was simple. We were students, and we had nothing but our dreams. One evening, I drew a picture on a small piece of paper. It was a sketch of a house. It was not a big house. It was small and cozy, with a garden for flowers. I showed it to Sophia. Her eyes were full of light. She held my hand. Her touch was warm. "It's perfect, Leo," she whispered. "It's our home." That simple sketch was our promise. It was the future we wanted to build together. But after we got married, things changed. Slowly, Sophia made new friends. They were rich. They lived in big houses and drove expensive cars. I saw a change in her eyes. The light was still there, but it was different. It was a light of wanting, not dreaming. She started talking about brands I had never heard of. She said, "Leo, we can't fall behind." I loved her. I wanted her to be happy. So I worked harder. I stopped designing the small, meaningful buildings I loved. I took big, commercial projects. The work felt cold, but the money was good. I told myself it was for her. I built her the world she wanted. We bought a huge house, but it always felt empty to me. We bought a luxury car, but I felt lost when I drove it. My heart grew heavy. I was successful, but I was not happy. One day, I found the old sketch in a book. The paper was soft. The lines were full of hope. I looked at it for a long time. I remembered the young man who drew it. He was full of passion. He was full of love. I felt a tear run down my face. I folded the paper carefully and put it in a dark drawer. I thought I was just hiding a piece of paper. But looking back, I knew I was hiding a piece of my own soul. The world of luxury we built was like a house of cards. One small wind could make it fall. And the wind came. The economy became weak. My architecture company lost several big projects. My income dropped quickly. The endless river of money was finally drying up. My heart was heavy. I knew I had to talk to Sophia. One evening, I found her in the living room. I sat down beside her. My voice was soft. "Honey," I said, "we need to cut back on spending for a while. Things are tough right now." Her face changed. Her warm smile disappeared. Her voice was sharp, like broken glass. "Cut back?" she asked. "My friends are planning a trip to Europe. I can't look poor in front of them, Leo." I felt a cold knot in my stomach. I thought to myself, she is not worried about us. She is worried about her friends. Her words showed me a part of her I had never seen before, or maybe a part I had refused to see. But a few days later, she changed again. She came to me while I was working. She put her arms around me. Her voice was sweet. "I'm sorry, Leo," she whispered. I was stressed. "I know you're working hard. We're a team. We'll get through this together." Her words were like a warm blanket. My heart felt a little lighter. I wanted to believe her. I hugged her back and told myself, this is just a difficult time. Our love is strong. That feeling of hope did not last long. A week later, she left her phone on the coffee table. A message appeared on the screen. It was from her friend. I did not want to look, but my eyes saw the words. I saw my name. I picked up the phone. My hands were shaking. I read her last message. She wrote, "Leo is failing. I don't know how much longer I can stay in this situation." I put the phone down. I could not breathe. My heart did not just break. It shattered into 1,000 pieces. The woman who promised to be my team was planning to leave the game. Her support was a lie. Her love was a performance. I did not shout. I did not cry. I just felt empty. I walked to my office and quietly closed the door. I opened the dark drawer and took out the old sketch. I looked at the simple lines of our dream house. I remembered the young man who drew it. His heart was full of passion, not pressure. He believed in a simple love, not an expensive one. In that quiet room, I finally understood. I had lost that man a long time ago. A few days passed in silence. The house felt cold. Then, one evening, Sophia came home. Her face was different. There was no anger, no sadness. It was just empty. She looked at me without emotion and said the words that would end everything. "Leo, we need to talk. I met someone." I just sat there. The words "I met someone" echoed in the silent room. My mind felt numb. I could not feel my own hands. Sophia continued to speak. Her voice was calm, like she was talking about the weather. "His name is Mark," she said. "He's a businessman. He's stable, Leo. He can give me the life I need." She did not say the life she wanted. She said the life she needed, as if luxury was like air or water. So, she took a deep breath. "I want a divorce. It's the best choice for both of us." My heart felt a sharp pain. The best choice? She made this choice alone. Then she spoke about the house. "We will sell the house, of course," she said confidently. "We will split the money, 50-50. It's only fair." I looked at her. 15 years of my hard work, my sleepless nights, my lost dreams, and she called this fair. I was in too much pain to argue. I just nodded. I whispered, "I will talk to a lawyer." The next week was a blur. I felt like a ghost in my own home. I met with a lawyer. He was a kind, older man. I told him everything. I told him about our simple beginning and our expensive end. I told him about the house. He listened patiently. He looked through all my financial papers. Then, he stopped. He looked at one document for a long time. He looked up at me. His eyes were serious. "Leo," he said slowly, "where did the money for the first payment on this house come from?" I thought for a moment. "It was from a trust fund," I replied. "My parents left it for me before we were married." The lawyer leaned forward. His voice was quiet but strong. He said the words that changed everything. "Leo, that money was your personal property before the marriage. The initial down payment for the house came from your personal trust fund. Legally, she is entitled to much, much less than she thinks." I stared at him. I did not understand at first. My mind was slow from the pain. He explained it again. "The foundation of our expensive life was built on my family's money, not our money. And the law protected it." A strange feeling started to grow inside me. It was not hope. It was not happiness. I whispered to myself. It was strength. For the first time in a long time, I felt the ground beneath my feet again. A few days later, they came. Sophia walked into the house, but she was not alone. Mark was with her. He looked around our home with the eyes of a buyer, not a guest. I felt a fire in my chest, a feeling I had not felt in years. It was anger. Sophia did not look at me. She walked confidently through the rooms, pointing at things. "We can sell this old furniture," she said to Mark. "And we will need to renovate the kitchen." She spoke about my home as if it was already hers to sell. Mark nodded, a small smile on his face. They were planning their future in the middle of my broken past. I watched them for a moment. I saw the man I used to be, the man who was always quiet, the man who always said yes to keep the peace. But today, that man was gone. I walked to my office and took something from the drawer. I returned to the living room. I did not raise my voice. I simply placed the old, folded paper on the coffee table in front of them, the sketch of our dream house. "Sophia," I said. My voice was calm and steady. "Do you remember this?" She glanced at it. A flash of annoyance crossed her face. "Don't be sentimental, Leo," she said, waving her hand. "We're talking about real money now, about the future." I looked straight into her eyes. The woman I once loved was gone. A stranger was standing in her place, and for the first time, I was not afraid of her. "You are right," I said. My voice was low but clear. Every word was heavy with the truth I had carried alone. "Let's talk about real money. The real money that bought this house came from my family's trust fund. It was my money before it was our house. And you will not get half of it. You will not get the house at all." Silence. The confident smile on Sophia's face disappeared. Her eyes grew wide. She looked like she had seen a ghost. Mark's smile also vanished. He turned to Sophia, his eyes filled with confusion and suspicion. "What is he talking about, Sophia?" he asked. His voice was cold. Suddenly, he was not looking at a rich partner. He was looking at a problem. And in that moment, I knew I had finally found my voice again. Sophia could not speak. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. I took the legal papers from my jacket pocket and placed them on the table. The truth was there, in black and white. Mark looked at the papers. Then he looked at Sophia. His face was like a cold stone. He stood up slowly. He did not look at her with love or even with pity. He looked at her like a bad investment. "It seems you have your own problems to solve, Sophia," he said. His voice was flat and final. He walked to the door without looking back. He opened it, and then he was gone. Sophia stood frozen. The man she left her husband for had just abandoned her. Her perfect future disappeared in an instant. She looked around the luxurious room, and for the first time, she saw it for what it was, just an empty, expensive box. Everything she had planned, everything she had sacrificed our marriage for, was gone. She sank onto the sofa. Her face was a mask of disbelief and failure. She was not crying. She was just staring at the empty space where Mark had been. In that moment, she was completely alone. She had traded a 15-year marriage for a 15-minute dream. And now, the dream was over. I watched her, and I did not feel anger anymore. I did not feel sadness. I just felt a quiet, empty peace. I knew our story was finally finished. After that day, everything moved quickly. The divorce was finalized. Sophia took a small amount of money, much less than she had planned. She packed her expensive clothes and her designer bags. She left without saying goodbye. I stood in the silent house for a long time. Then, I slowly walked to the window. The storm was finally over. I lived in that big house alone for a few weeks. Every room was a memory of a life that was not mine. The cold marble floors, the giant empty sofas, the art on the walls that she had chosen. This house was a symbol of my lost years. It was a beautiful prison I had built for myself. I knew I could not stay there. I whispered to myself, "This is not my home." So, I made a choice. I decided to sell the house. The day the new owners came to get the keys was a sunny day. I had packed my life into a few small boxes. I did not take any of the expensive furniture. I just took my clothes, my books, and my old architecture tools, and of course, the little sketch of our first dream house. As I closed the door for the last time, I thought I would feel a deep pain. I thought I would cry for the broken promise of our marriage, but I didn't. Instead, I felt a huge weight lift from my shoulders. I didn't feel sad. I felt free. I drove away with only a few boxes, but I had something more important. I had my passion, my principles, and my future. For the first time in 15 years, I was driving toward a life that was truly my own. 2 years later, life is very different now. I used the money from the sale to start my own small architecture firm. I don't take big, commercial projects anymore. I design small, sustainable homes for families. Homes with heart. My work doesn't make me rich, but it makes me happy. The passion I thought was dead is alive again. I bought a small piece of land by a quiet lake. With my own hands, I started to build a house. It was not a big house. It was small and cozy, with a garden for flowers. It was the house from the old sketch. Sometimes I heard news about Sophia. She lives in a small apartment in the city. Her rich friends are gone. Her new life with Mark never happened. I don't feel anger when I think of her. I don't feel anything at all. She is just a part of a past that feels like a different lifetime. Now, my new house is finished. I often sit on the porch in the evening, watching the sunset over the water. I hold that old sketch in my hands. The paper is yellow and soft. The lines are faded. But it's not just paper and ink anymore. It's my life. Simple, honest, and truly mine. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt at peace. Through this journey, I learned many hard lessons. I learned that a person who values you only for your money will leave you when the money is gone. True wealth is not in your bank account, but in the peace of your heart and the freedom to be yourself. And sometimes, you must lose the life you planned to find, the life that was waiting for you all along. Leo and Sophia's story is a powerful, modern warning about the difference between a partnership and a transaction. In a world driven by social media, where success is often measured by what we own and display, it's easy to forget what a true relationship is built on. Their divorce is a dark reflection of what happens when we prioritize image over intimacy. This story teaches 2 vital lessons. First, the silent danger of compromising your core. Leo sacrificed his passion and principles piece by piece to please Sophia, losing himself in the process. It's a reminder that while compromise is healthy, compromising your identity for someone else will eventually lead to emptiness. Second, it exposes the fallacy of conditional love. Sophia's love was conditional on Leo's financial success. This teaches us to recognize whether we are loved for who we are or for what we can provide. Take a moment to look at your own life and relationships. Are your goals truly your own, or are they shaped by external pressures? Learn to set boundaries to protect your passions and principles. And most importantly, have open conversations about values and life goals with your partner, ensuring your foundation is built on shared dreams, not just shared expenses. Who do you think was more at fault? Leo for sacrificing his identity, or Sophia for her materialism? Comment Leo or Sophia below. If you believe that authenticity is more valuable than luxury, please like this video and subscribe to Peak English Stories. Thank you for listening. May you always have the courage to build a life that is truly yours.